Okay, mommy, a little bit for mommy. Yeah.
Jambo Bwana, everyone, and welcome to Loving Day Nursery. Welcome to our early dismissal rally. I'd like to open with the land acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge your presence here, first of all. I acknowledge your presence here on the unceded land of the Anacostia, Pamunkey, and Piscataway Indians. I honor them as the original stewards and custodians of this land. I'd also like to acknowledge our bloodline and communal ancestors, especially our black and brown slave mothers, which was considered the mammy archetype and the very first exploitation of early learning education. The mammy archetype was an indentured slave who performed care work because it was what she was supposed to do. But it was then never recognized and is still now not recognized as a reputable workforce, as a workforce that lives with dignity and pride above the poverty line and with health care and can care for their families. And here in 2026, we are still trying to end chattel slavery. And now I want to introduce a most dedicated, unparalleled, learning educator for over 3 decades here in the District of Columbia. I present to some and introduce to others Miss Sharon Lemons of Loving Care Day Nursery.
Hello, everyone. It is definitely an honor to be here and to represent for Loving Care Day Nursery. Yes, I have been working in childcare for over 30 years. I have been working at Loving Care Day Nursery for 20 years. I would first like to thank everyone for coming out. I would like to thank Spaces in Action for making this possible. I would like to thank all of the Loving Care staff, our Loving Care children, the owner, Miss Annie Pankey. I would like to thank you. I would also like to thank our parents, most of all. Thank you, parents, for a job well done. Where are our parents? Do I have any parents? I have a parent right, yep. So this is just not a day of closing. It's a day to let everyone know how important childcare really is. It starts with us. We're not babysitters. We are teachers. We are here for the growth and development of our children. We definitely need the mayor to know, and anybody else, that we need our childcare. Our babies need our childcare. We need our pay equity because we're not any different from anybody else. To take away our pay equity is to take away our livelihood. To take away our children, it's like taking away food from them. So I just wanted to say that. Do I have Miss Pankey, the owner? Where's Miss Pankey? Miss Pankey is not here. Miss Lane? Wave, Miss Lane. Hey.
Yeah, I'll get Miss Pankey.
Okay. All right, so I will turn it back over. Thanks, everyone.
I want everybody to get loud and rowdy with me and say, early learning has been hacked.
Early learning has been hacked.
Put that 70 million back.
Put that 70 million back.
I said, early learning has been hacked.
Early learning has been hacked.
Put that 70 million back.
Put that 70 million back.
I said, put that 70 million back.
Put that 70 million back.
Louder, early learning has been hacked.
Early learning has been hacked.
Put that 70 million back.
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 Because we want pay equity. I said, what do you want? Pay equity. When do you want it?
Now.
I said, when do you want?
Pay equity.
When do you want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Pay equity.
When do you want it?
Now.
put your fists in the air when you say pay equity. I said, what do you want?
Pay equity.
When do you want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Pay equity.
When do you want it?
Now.
What do you want?
Pay equity.
When do you want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it, I said if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
woo! Give yourselves a hand. And now, I would like to introduce a trailblazer and innovator in this early learning educator work here in Washington, D.C. The lovable, laudable LaDon Love, who is the executive director and has over 20 years of grassroots advocacy, organizing, and policy experience. She is the founding executive director of Spaces in Action and will share a little bit about the history of the childcare movement in D.C. Let's give it up for LaDon Love.
I know. I made a friend. So, what did you say I'm doing? What did you just say I'm doing? What did you just say? Because I thought. Okay. So, I'm LaDon Love, the executive director of Spaces in Action. And it's important to know that this fight for childcare did not just start today. There are trailblazers that have been doing this work for over 60 years. And if we go back to 2009, there was a law that passed that made it so that pre-K became universal in DC. But it left behind our early childhood educators and the children from birth to 3. And in 2018, the Birth to 3 for All law passed. And that is what put in place funding for early learning as well as health supports. So the Pay Equity Fund that gives both pay supplements and health care to child care workers in the DC area, if you work in the district, has been cut. We just found out today. And just to think that we did so much work to find the resources to pay for the Pay Equity Fund, and with a swipe of the pen, the mayor has just taken away $60 million today in her budget. Damn. That's going to impact the salaries and wages of our early childhood educators. We might lose some people. We might lose some centers. This is why we have to stand together and we have to fight, because it's not right.
It's not right.
And our educators deserve more. Our educators deserve all the support. And on top of that, the mayor is also about to start a wait list that will go into effect on May 12th. So families need to apply for the child care subsidy immediately, because after May 11th, they're going to switch over to a wait list. So we want you to make sure that if you're pregnant, get your paperwork together. If you have a child already in the child care system and you have the subsidy, you should be safeguarded and be able to bring a child that you may be pregnant with or that comes to life before your child that's in early learning turns 3. But what about those families who don't have children right now but are planning? There's no safety net for them. There's no support for them. The only way we win is when we fight together. The only way we win is when we stand together. So I ask you, are you all ready to stand together so we can fight and win? Yes! Our educators deserve the investment. Our children deserve the support, and our families deserve those resources. And we all have to stand together and let the mayor, let the council, and let the CFO know that cutting these types of programs is unacceptable. There's other things they can do. So you're going to hear about other resource generation ideas like the BAT, which is the business activity tax. We also know that there's a lot of money that goes into policing communities, but we all also know that when communities have their basic necessities met, communities are safer. That means health care, child care, housing supports. Let's focus there. Let's make sure that we have a council and a DC mayor that is going to put our families first. Yes, yes? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, LaDon. It is so very true that if we don't know where we've been, how will we know where we're going? And together we win. Let me hear you say, when we fight, we win. When we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
when we fight.
We win.
And now I would like to introduce to you one of our economic justice organizers, Deja Williams.
Hello, everybody. My name is Deja Williams. I'm a community organizer with Spaces in Action. Woo! I'm going to give a bio on who Spaces in Action is. So Spaces in Action, if you have not heard of us, also known as SIA, we are a local nonprofit membership-based organization. Our campaigns include increasing early childhood learning opportunities, access to health equity, and also racial/economic dignity for Black, Indigenous, and Latin families in the Washington, D.C. metro region. We do our work through base building, taking collective action to win local, regional, and national people-centered solutions. And as we say with our slogan, we with our members, we do what? Reclaim our power. We are also part of coalition work, and we can't do this work alone. Shout out to Under 3 DC, Free, Free DC, JRDC, and all the coalitions that we are a part of. Thank you.
Thank you, Deja. And if you are not a member of Spaces in Action or would like to know more about Spaces in Action, please see one of our amazing team. Well, we can't distinguish because everybody has on the Spaces in Action shirt today. Well, see one of our Spaces in Action members, and also please follow us on all platforms at Spaces in Action. Let me hear you say Spaces.
Spaces
In action!
in action.
And now I just saw the matriarch of this movement here at Loving Care Day Nursery, Miss Panky. Miss Panky, would you grace us? Would you grace us with a few words about Loving Care Day Nursery and what the Pay Equity Fund and the Child Care Subsidy would mean to your families? Hello, Miss Panky.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome and thank you for coming for such an important cause. The budget cuts to the child care subsidy would create a tremendous hardship for families, working families. We need child care. Child care is very important, and the parents depend on it, and the children need it more than ever. And if not only to our center, but to other centers in the area, this would cause a definitely hardship on everyone. And this is something that we need to really fight for. It's really important, and we're going to strive, and we're going to stay here until they change it because we need it. And we thank you all for that. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Panky. This is definitely a full circle moment for me. I'm a 2-gen caregiver of 3 differently able little people that range in age from 5 to 16 now. And about 16 years ago, when I was seeking child care for my youngest 2 that are 15 and 16 that have special needs, I was rejected by 3 different child development centers. Finally, I landed in the lap of Miss Panky in Loving Care Day Nursery. So to come here and see that the work is still being done and that families are still prioritized, I want to give a warm bow to Miss Panky for her vision and valor in the District of Columbia for all families. Thank you, Miss Panky. Let's give it up for Miss Panky. And now I would like to introduce our our policy strategist, Manisha Horshin from Spaces in Action.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a special welcome to all the adorable babies here with us. Yay for the babies.
Woo, shout out to the babies.
All right, so I'm sorry to have to come up here and paint a very bleak picture of the state of DC. But recent and upcoming actions by the people in charge, like the mayor, have put us in a position to act with urgency. During her tenure, instead of investing in everyday working families, the mayor focused on paving the way for corporations and the wealthy to line their pockets. This has done little to nothing for children, young people, and families who are left to fend for themselves. At a time when our federal government is slashing programs and protections left and right and starting wars with money that belongs to the American people, the mayor's actions are particularly cruel. And she just presented her budget to DC Council this morning and is proposing to cut at least $300 million from programs in this next fiscal year.
That's not right.
It's not right. As of 2024, DC is tied with New York for the highest level of income inequality in the country. That means a small percentage of people in the district are collectively earning more money than the majority of lower income households combined. Over 116,000 people live in poverty in the district as of 2024. And we don't expect to see that number to fall when we see what the mayor's policy did for families in 2025. And this year isn't going to look better if they keep making choices that hurt families instead of helping them. Over 116,000 people. I know I don't need to paint this picture because many of you live this reality day to day. But what does this mean for DC? It means over 5,000 individuals who are unhoused, with many more unaccounted for. It means an increase of 75,000 people struggling to put food on the table than in previous years. It means 1 in 3 Black children living in poverty compared to 1 in 100 white children. How can we expect families to pay tens of thousands of dollars for childcare, some of the highest costs in the country, when they're making a pittance compared to the wealthy few? We can't. That's why we need to protect investments in programs and services that benefit all of us. If you're thinking, well, this doesn't affect me, I'm covered under my current healthcare plan, I'm receiving SNAP benefits, or I'm a TANF recipient, or I'm already enrolled in childcare subsidy, I regret to inform you that this year they're slashing funding for these programs at the federal level and imposing changes locally. The mayor has proposed almost entirely eliminating the Pay Equity Fund in this next fiscal year. Shame. Your child's teachers won't be able to afford to stay in their role. They'll have to shut down this center and centers like this, and families will have to choose between taking care of their children and showing up to work. You will be impacted one way or another. This is serious. People are losing the support they need to provide for their families. The future we need to look towards shouldn't be about surviving. We can have a different conversation later about what real prosperity looks like. But for now, we have the tools, resources, clear policy choices, proven policy choices, and wealth in this district to move families one step closer to that goal of prosperity. And now I'll pass it to Deja to talk about what a district that actually supports families looks like. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, educators, parents, and members of the community. I'm here to talk about the solutions to the dire future that DC faces. What we need is support. Support for child care subsidies, the Pay Equity Fund, Alliance, TANF, and the Child Tax Credit. Policies that actually meet the needs of DC families. We need to invest in social safety net programs like TANF and the Child Tax Credit, CTC, to address poverty in the district. By providing monthly assistance for families who need it the most, we can improve health outcomes for babies and mothers and even reduce eviction rates. We saw what a powerful tool the CTC was during the pandemic. We can replicate that success here in the district by expanding and improving the local credit. A $1,500 credit per children in low-income families available to all children aged 17 or under, regardless of immigration status, would reach 80,000 children and lift 4,700 of them out of poverty. Even a $1,000 credit will reduce child poverty in the district by 20%. Yeah. What could you do with $1,000 or $1,500? Put food on the table, buy your kids new school and shoe supplies, pay one more month of rent, pay for the high cost of childcare. Without the Pay Equity Fund and childcare subsidies, families would have little to no option of where to take their children while they're at work or school. These programs paired together support the whole early learning education sector. Infant and toddler care is expensive. Children need age and developmentally appropriate care. We need well-equipped and trained teachers to meet our children's needs. The mayor made some incredibly ignorant remarks today about the Pay Equity Fund, which he's essentially planning to eliminate in the next fiscal year. Without the Pay Equity Fund to ensure fair wages for educators, classrooms will be empty and children would be worse off. We cannot have affordable and quality childcare that families need without paying educators fairly. Childcare subsidies, that's right. Childcare subsidies help your bus driver, food service, and healthcare worker and construction person show up to work and keep the district running, all with the security of knowing that their child are in care in a safe early learning environment. Without subsidies, parents won't be able to show up to work or school, centers won't be able to fill their seats, and educators won't be able to provide for their families. Investing in childcare on both sides will ensure children in DC will have a healthy start in life. This is especially important because of the cuts to Medicaid and loss of health coverage from Alliance for thousands of DC residents. Last year, we know that with continuous and reliable health care access to health services, DC residents will see their conditions and overall health worsen over time. We need programs to reach DC residents regardless of their status or income. The policy choices are clear. We have the research, testimony from community members, and know how to get all of this done. Now it's up to us to ensure our elected representatives heed our demands. Hear our demands. We know what's best for this community, and it's time that they listened. And so now, I'm going to kick it to Richard to talk about how we get these things funded. Amen.
All righty, everybody. Good afternoon. So we just heard a lot of things, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, actually, it's just the bad and the ugly, really, to be honest. So none of this is new to you, I'm sure. These are things we've known and lived with day in and day out, plain and simple. The system isn't working, or more accurately, it's working for the select few. Time and time again, legislators seem to favor big business, real estate developers, and the wealthy at large over everyday working class families. That ain't right. However, I'm here to tell you that there is hope. I'm not just talking about our beautiful child care organizer, Hope Joyner over there. But the mayor acts like there's no choice but to cut child care subsidies, pay equity, and TANF, and everything Manisha and they just spoke about earlier. And that kind of rhetoric really reminds me, it's similar to the president saying there's no money for child care because we need that money for the war. It's the same vibes, in my opinion. So what if I told you there is a choice? There is money available right now. There are hundreds of millions of dollars available to fund these programs now and for the future. That is your money. You already paid into it with your taxes from last year. But the chief financial officer, he wants to prevent us from using it for what we need most. And with little transparency about where that money is going to go to and how it's going to be used. So he wants to prevent us from using that. But guess what? This city is on fire, and we need that rainy day money now. We're hearing that council members agree that this money belongs to our communities and should be used at a time when we're in a budget crisis and forced to slash programs and services left and right. So it's imperative that we pressure Chief Financial Officer Glenn Lee to release this money. It's our money, and make them available for this budget. However, this is not enough. We cannot live our lives reacting to emergencies and putting out fires as they appear. We need to be proactive. We need a sustainable way of funding these programs. And the best way to do that is to raise revenue with new taxes. And I know tax day is around the corner. It's next week. We're a little tired of taxes at this point. With me, if you haven't done it yet, taxes is kind of like a 4-letter word, right? But the important question is, who are we going to tax? Parents struggling to raise families in the city as it is?
No.
Educators like the hardworking folks here at Loving Care?
No.
Or the people who can most afford it, the 1% that Manisha referred to earlier? Because it is long overdue for them to pay their fair share. So what are these revenue raisers? First, we can increase taxes on high incomes, those making over $500,000. You know, families with incomes in the top 5% pay less in taxes proportionate to their incomes than families in the middle. That means currently there are millionaires paying the same share in taxes relative to their incomes as a nurse or an educator. Is that right? No. That ain't right. Thank you, yes. He knows. Yeah, say it with your chest. If adopted, this policy would bring in over $100 million each year. And if we adopt a surcharge for those making over $1 million, it would raise $167 million a year. So the next one, what's the next one? We tax wealth. We tax wealth by increasing the tax rate on capital gains income, and we can address the extreme concentration of wealth in the hands of a few by strengthening taxes on inherited wealth and profits from the sale of assets, such as investments, stock market. We would bring in about $40 million to $120 million between these two policies alone. And last but certainly not least, we hold the businesses and corporations that operate in D.C. but don't pay taxes in D.C. accountable via a business activity tax. All corporations that operate in the district and benefit from its strong economy and public services must pay their fair share in taxes. Right now, some of them don't because their owners reside outside of D.C. or because they can hide their profits. And let me be clear, when we say businesses, we don't mean places like Loving Care or your favorite Chinese joint down the street. We're talking about lobbying firms and big corporations that operate in and benefit from the city but do not contribute and pay back into the city. So I want to wrap up real quick by just giving you a little bit of a history lesson, about May Day, May 1st. I won't go too long into it, but if you don't know, bear with me and let me put you on game. So May Day, from the 1886, was the first May Day when 300,000 workers walked out of their jobs to demand better pay, better working conditions, and an 8-hour workday. So that 8-hour workday that most of us, appreciate and benefit from, it was achieved through blood, sweat, and tears, and manifestations, demonstrations, and 300,000 workers leaving their job. Kind of similar to what we're doing here today, early dismissal. Because the only way that we're going to be able to, get what we need is for us to band together in solidarity and lift our voices and make our demands known. So on May 1st, I invite everybody to join Spaces in Action and all the other organizations in D.C. to demand that legislators listen to us and give us what we need. May 1st, follow Spaces in Action for more information to come. But I want to thank you guys for being here. And si se puede, yes we can.
Thank you, Manisha, Deja, and Richard. When the mayor opened her budget remarks this afternoon, she stated that she wanted to dispel the myth that D.C. was broke. Well, I want to state we want to dispel the myth that early learning education will be broken. We are demanding that the mayor invest in people and not the landscapes that people live in. So to that end, we're going to chant that we are unstoppable, pay equity is possible. Say, we are unstoppable, pay equity is possible. We are unstoppable, pay equity is possible. Say, we are unstoppable, equity is possible. We are unstoppable, pay equity is possible. Say, we are unstoppable, pay equity is possible. Okay, and now, ladies and gentlemen, We are at the point in our rally.
How do I see you, Mommy?
Let me just do a quick check-in with Hope because I see some new guests have arrived. You know, earlier I shared with you that Miss Panky and Loving Care Day Nursery was the only center I could find in the city to take my older grandchildren with special needs. Well, 10 years later, 5 years ago, I adopted my grandson with autism, and Guattari Child Development Center was instrumental in helping me to adjust with the adoption process, providing care, and making sure that I could go to work because the workforce behind my work was found at Guattari Child Development Center. And not only was it found, but it was comprehensive. It was loving and nurturing, and I could feel safe leaving my grandson in the hands of Guattari. So I wanted to introduce Miss Queen Latifah, the founder, director, and owner of Guattari Child Development Center, followed by Miss Eva, who runs one of the other branches. So let's welcome to the podium the Queen Latifah.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Latifah Bukhari, Guattari Child Development Center. Since I moved to U.S. 2004, all I did is childcare. So childcare is me. And I'm out here to show support to Loving Care, to all the center around D.C., to our lovely teachers. Thank you. Thank you. Without our teachers, we cannot go to work, we cannot do nothing. And we, early childhood educator, we make lawyers, we make mayors, we make doctors. Everything starts with us. So we need the funding to keep up the good work, to keep taking good care of our little ones. That's the future. Future mayors, future lawyers, everything, future president. So, Mayor, we need your attention. This is serious. And I'll give the mic to Miss Eva. Thank you.
Yes, we need this mayor to come to the club, come to our standing and make sure that our teachers are paid. Without our teachers, the foundation is not a whole. We need you, Mayor. So please, please keep the pay equity for our teachers and staff members. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to ask Too Much Talent Band to give us some music while we gather all of our speakers. Mrs. Sharon Lemons. LaDon Love, Executive Director, Spaces in Action. Before we gather speakers, I would be remiss if I did not bring our Spaces in Action Childcare lead organizer to the podium, who has worked tirelessly to put this rally together. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Miss Hope Joyner. Mrs. Hope Joyner.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody feeling today? Y'all can do better than that. How's everybody feeling today? All right. So, parents, teachers, press, communities. Today I had the misfortune of having to listen to the mayor present her budget this morning, where she attempted to defend slashing funds for critical programs and services. This was after her team talked about how the district is not broke and that we are strong and financial. Now you all have heard the same news. You've not only heard the problem, you also have heard the solution. But this is your reminder that we are not broke as communities, but the system is. And the system is broke by design. A program she called income support rather than a cornerstone for early child care sector is being taken away. This is our time to reclaim our power by setting explicit expectations for both our outgoing mayor, who already has 1 foot out the door, as well as set explicit expectations for our incoming mayor as well as their staff. This is our time to remind them that we are willing to gather as communities, protest as Black, brown, immigrants, and Latinx communities. Yes, yes? Yes. This is our collective time to take action and make sure that we see change that we want to see in our communities. Yes, yes? Yes. This is why we are inviting everyone to do 2 things. Number 1, we're asking you to join us on May 1st for May Day. May Day is an international day of action honoring international workers. So that's all working families, all of the educators here, and all of our children who will eventually grow up to be in the workforce. Yes, yes? Yes. This day celebrates working people and the struggles and gains made by unions and the labor movement. This action would take place across the country, especially here in D.C. Yes, yes? Yes. As workers, you all as workers under attack, that includes myself, that includes our parents, that includes our teachers, who are under attack. We encourage a boycott for all workers in D.C., especially in the child care sector. Yes, yes? Yes, yes. We have to remind not only the mayor, but our communities that early learning child care educators are the workforce behind the workforce. The only way to see systemic change is to disrupt the system. Yes, yes? Yes, yes. I'm going to say that again. The only way to see systemic change is to disrupt the system. Yes, yes? Yes, yes. Join Spaces in Action on May 1st for May Day. It's a day of action. So if you are interested, please contact any one of the Spaces in Action organizers or staff members. Raise your hand, staff members. Whoop, whoop, yes. We also want to remind everyone here today and everyone that's watching that you can also take action by joining us down at the Wilson Building in partnership with our coalition under 3DC, DC Physical Policy Institute. We are going down every single Wednesday to the Wilson Building to make sure that we are causing these disruptions and reminding the mayor, the DC Council, all of their staff that we are willing to disrupt their workplace so that we can have justice in our workplace. Thank you.
And now we will ask Too Much Talent Band to give us a little music while we bring forth our amazing speakers to thank them for their vision and their valor and their participation here today. Mrs. Sharon Lemons, who I just saw grabbing a baby. There she is. Sharon Lemons. LaDon Love, Executive Director, Spaces in Action. Deja Williams, Tax Justice Organizer, Spaces in Action. Manisha Horshin, Policy Strategist, Spaces in Action. Richard Benyamia, Tax Justice Organizer, Spaces in Action. And again, Hope Joyner, Child Care Organizer, Spaces in Action. Let's give all of our speakers a round of applause. We want pay equity. What do we want? Pay equity. When do we want it? Now. I said, what do we want? Pay equity. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Pay equity. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. 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 If we don't get it, I said if we don't get it, shut it down. gentlemen, don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Spaces in Action.